Okay. So. Okay. Okay. I have a feeling maybe we should we wait, Coco, should we wait until everybody comes to start? I think most people come around 7, right? Okay? So I know you just set up the camera and I'm so sorry, but you want to turn it off?
Okay.
And so wonderful. Okay. I was wonderful too when I was your age. Okay, so Dr. J's Think Speech Dance. The consonants are boys. The vowels are girls. Very good. They're gender neutral. They're undecided. Okay. The vowels are girls. What are the vowels? A, E, I, O, U. Sometimes what? Okay. So these are the vowels. Okay. According to Dr. J's Think Speech Dance, the H always disappears unless it's the first part of a sentence. It's just a weak letter. T almost always turns into a D, and the S always turns into a Z or a Z. Okay? And the other consonants pretty much stay what they are, except at the end of a word, the E always disappears. Okay? So, the boys always dance with the girls. The girls, when the girls dance, what happens? Wah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, wah, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, too dramatic for film. Kids, don't watch this. Okay, so, how about the girls? Do the girls dance with the boys? No, they can't. The girls don't dance with the boys. Do the boys dance with the boys? No, they don't. Okay, so, in that situation, then what happens? Hey, what happens in this situation when there's a girl and a boy and 2 boys? There's a pause. A pause. Hyoku. Okay? There's a pause, okay? There's a pause, okay? 没什么声音呢. And that is called in English the intonation. This one, the intonation 发生在那个地方. In other words, you know when to stop. And that's the hard thing about the language. So, 连音 is the secret of really cool English. Now, after I taught you this last week, did anyone experience any aha moment? Did you watch your favorite movie or listen to a song? Did someone give you a bunch of DVDs? Did you watch their videos? Okay, yeah. And did you go, oh my Lady Gaga, I can't believe this. Did that happen to anybody? Just say yes. Yeah, yeah, me too. I'm so happy. Oh, that gives me 成就感. 我很有成就感. 对，很开心的. 对啊，所以我改变你们的未来. So, when you were watching this favorite movie or hearing this song, did you notice the linking of the sounds? Yeah? Yes. Really? Okay, cool. Okay, so when you heard the linking of the sound, did you think of me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm so touched. Okay, so this is what the Dr. J's Think Speech Dance is about you, to liberate you from the chains of misunderstanding and to give you a new weapon to fight against the English dragons. Okay, because if you learn how to link sound, then you will become a better consumer of English. And instead of like, you can know, okay, 我虽然听不懂，但是我知道你在练，你练的声音，hey, hello, 你练的声音在哪里? Okay, so it should give you confidence. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, so let's do, before we take a break, you came at the perfect time. We're about to take a break. Good job. That's my kind of student. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to make a song, okay? I'm going to make a sentence. He hates his I'm not going to say underwear today, okay? I talked about underwear last week. Okay. He hates his uncle's umbrella, Ella, Ella, eh, eh. Under his umbrella, Ella, Ella, eh, eh. Okay. So. Okay. Shingenjo, so please read with me. He hates his uncle's umbrella. He hates his uncle's umbrella. Good. Okay, now does anybody want to come and show us about the Dr. J's link speech dance up here? And show us how it links? Does anybody want to try? Okay, let's pretend we cut the video. Okay, ready? Okay, very good. You did a great job. Thank you, Steve. That was perfect. Okay. So, okay, good. Good job. Here, let's do it again. Okay, thank you. Here we are again. Okay, so what's going to happen with this H? Is it going to have a sound or no sound?
No.
Yeah. Well, I know. I'm so sorry. I always told you there's no sound. If it's at the beginning, it kind of does have it. I'm so sorry. Let's do it again. Okay. How about the H? Does it have a sound?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Why? Very good, Cedar. It's the beginning of the word. Okay. How about this H? Does it have a sound?
No.
Good. Okay. What does this T maybe become? Duh, maybe. Now, because it's between two vowels, it's going to kind of stay strong. But don't worry about the details. Okay. The details don't really matter. But it's kind of complicated. It's like life. It's complicated. Okay. But anyway, what about this? What's going to happen to this? Z, right? Okay. What about this H? Good job. I have to be nice to Cedar. Okay. What about this S? What's going to happen? Good. Okay. What about this S? Good. Okay, good. What about this A? Ella. Does anything happen to it? No, it just stays a beautiful A. Okay, good. Now. Uh-oh. We got two girls about to dance. Oh, yeah. So what's going to happen? What are we going to say? Are we going to say wah or yeah? Yeah. That's right. Yes. And then this Z is going to take this I. And this Z is going to take that U. And this Z is going to take that U. And that's just going to stay how it is. So it's going to turn into something like this. Are you ready? Yes. Ziz. Zunkles. Zumbrella. Okay, now I'm really going to say how I would say this to my people. Really quickly, I think. He hates his uncle's umbrella. He hates his uncle's umbrella. Okay, Chingenjo was right. He hates his uncle's umbrella. He hates his uncle's umbrella. He hates his uncle's umbrella. Exactly, and you see why you guys are so beautiful, right? And you see why I have so many wrinkles and things on my face? Because of that stupid language English, we have to move our face so much that we end up looking like this, okay? And so, what I like to do when I talk to people, because I'm tired of English making me make all these sounds, I like to link everything into one sentence to where you don't really understand. Just like people speak Taiwanese, like I love how in the park in the morning when I exercise, they speak Taiwanese but not even moving their mouth. And that's how I like to speak English. So Chingenjo was up. He hates his uncle's umbrella. He hates his uncle's umbrella. Okay, but usually in everyday speech, you don't have sentences like this. Because this is created to 难道你们的. The regular sentences are really pretty easy. Like, He is at 7-Eleven. Okay, so the cool thing about this is after you learn about this, we have 4 minutes to the break. I'm looking very carefully. Okay, when you see this, when you learn this Dr. J Link speech dance, it's actually kind of fun, right? 会不会觉得蛮好玩的？你可以猜得出来，到底哪里是发生这个？ Okay, so what's going to happen here? Yes. And then what's going to happen here? Just a rest. He'll put a rest. Because 7, no, at and 7, there's 7 is a consonant, right? And this is one too. So it's kind of like he is at 7. Yes. 7-Eleven. He is at 7-Eleven. And I would say to my brothers, or my best friend, I'd say, he's at 7-Eleven. No matter what, because of the stuff I'm teaching you, you know almost every English speaker will stop here. Because our language makes us so confused, and it's so much grammar, and it's such a mess. It's like a spaghetti bowl of mess. And so anytime we can rest, we do. And so anytime you have 2 consonants together, we always rest as much as we can before the next linking, because it's not easy speaking English. How about this one? This is my dog. Okay, when you see this, do you think there's a lot of linking?
Yes.
Where's the linking? What about this? No, there's no linking. And so every native speaker that I know of would say, this is my dog. This is my dog. This is my dog. Okay, so we know where the pauses are. Okay? Now, before we take the break, the other thing I taught you last week was the step up, step down. You remember? You remember? Okay, so who can read this according to the step up, step down? Athena, can you read this? Oh, that's right. Okay, Willie, can you read this? No, that's right.
This is my dog.
Oh, wow. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Athena, it's like you've been gone for 10 years, and then you came back and you heard this. Yeah, it's incredible. Did you hear what just happened? Can you read it again? I was shocked when I heard this.
This is my dog.
Wow. See, when I hear that as a native speaker, and I represent all native speakers tonight, okay, that's my job. I'm the god of the English-speaking world. Okay, when I hear this, I was like, oh my God, because you really spoke just like an English speaker. And so the only big secret I can teach you about the step up, step down is just every sentence goes da 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 da. Unless it's a question, which always goes up. Where the heck were you? I was at work. I don't believe you. And if it's an exclamation, it's always like downward, like you dog, you know, you son of a biscuit, right? I can say that, biscuit. That's it. I can say that on film. Son of a biscuit. We say that. Biscuit is really good. Food. Okay. And so if you're Myron John, it's always in downward. It's a question always goes up. In every single other situation in the language we call English, it goes da 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 da. And so that's all you have to do is just copy that. And when you just spoke, I was really shocked because you really sounded more native than I've heard you. Okay, so can you read this sentence for us? Willie.
This at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, did you hear that? You see? Could you feel it too? Could you feel the love? I can't do it yet, but anyway. Okay. Just pretend there's a Korean thing here, a love thing. Okay, so he is at, because most people go, he is at 7-Eleven. He is at 7. Now I want you to, he is at 7. 11. He is at 7. 11. Okay? And the more you practice this, the easier it gets. Okay? So, does anybody have any questions? Hey. Question?
Question is, yes, my dog. It is my dog. No need to. I mean,
Oh, about the Y?
yeah.
Yeah, the Y is kind of like it's oko. The Y is oko. Sometimes it's a vowel, sometimes it's not. Okay? It can't decide. It's kind of like gender equal. It can't decide if it's a boy or a girl. Y is just weird. Okay? It's hard to describe why is really weird. It just doesn't have the power to fight against a consonant. And so there's a pause. Y is really weird. My dog. Okay, just pretend it's a...
Mine is very important, so I focus on mine.
Yeah, it just doesn't have a link here.
Okay.
It's hard to describe. Let's do one more very quickly. Okay. I love my chair. That's a true sentence. I do love my chair. Okay. Do you feel any linking? You don't feel it, right? There's no linking. And that's beautiful. That means no work. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, so you can, I love my chair. I love my chair. Okay, Chinggit, I love my chair.
I love my chair.
Do you love your chair? Do you love your chair? What do you say? You can say, I love my chair, but I don't love you. Okay? You can add it anymore. And then it gets interesting, okay? Okay. So basically, that's what the Dr. J's linking is about, okay? Okay? And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it more as we get into the dialogue, as we look at the flip book for Unit 1 and 2. And Coco is going to remind you to find the PDF, just like you reminded me about the soybean milk. Good job. Yeah. I bought like 3 of them. I got the milk, man. Okay, good. So now we're going to do something that I know you really want to do. We're going to go, yeah, we're going to break. Okay, so we're going to break. I want you to take it. Is the camera off yet? Can you turn, is it off? Why would my arms be tired? Well, you just flew down from heaven. I said that once and a girl said, your fingers must be tired. I said, why? She goes, you crawled up from hell. I said, okay, wrong party. I'll go somewhere else. Okay, so 4 sentences. 4 sentences. Now, I want you to go to the person next to you or near you and say, hey man, how are we going to link these stupid 4 sentences, man? Okay? And let's think about it. Can the people in the back, can you read that? Can you see that? Okay, Mom? Okay, good. 你不一定要写下来，if you feel 很认真，你可以写下来，不一定要。I would be too lazy. 你就随便这芹菜就是讲一下哈。
味要怎么？
少一个一啊，少一个一啊，还在吃。
秋莲学就生动。
Who can tell me a sentence? Any sentence. Tell me any sentence.
Ted took off his clothes.
Okay. Steve put on his jacket. Good job. That's a good sentence. I have to predict.
We're waiting for it.
After what? Don't say Hank vomited all over his shirt. No. What happened? Steve put on his jacket after what? What happened? After.
Is that for umbrella?
Yeah. After he ate his uncle's umbrella? How about his umbrella? Ella. He ate his umbrella. Ella. Okay, good. So, who wants to? Does anybody want to come up to the front and show us how to link it? You guys don't like to come to the front, right? Because you kind of do the home. That's okay. Don't even listen. So, how would we do this? Okay. Yeah. Okay, first we can change to the D. Okay. Okay, this jumps to here. And what happens here? Nothing. Nothing. Okay, so who can read it for us? Okay, Roxanne? Very good. Okay, that's pretty intense. Your linking's really intense. Okay. I have to be careful that I don't turn you into monsters. Okay? Because some people later you're gonna, you took coach's course, but now you sound like you're from Vietnam. Okay, and I love Vietnam, and I just taught about 10 Vietnamese students, but they go, I'm at my job now, right? And so I don't want you to speak too good. Okay, you just did it because she just did it really. You say, I am at my job now. Okay, which is right. Remember, I'm just teaching you this so one, you can understand, and two, you can kind of start playing with it on your own. Hey, Roxanne, can you read it again? But open your mouth more this time. Yeah, okay. Yeah, try it again. Yeah. Shruti, Maria. Maria, where are you? I am okay. Shruti. Okay. Okay, you know, I'm learning Indonesian. I love Indonesian, I really do. Okay, so. Very good, Roxanne, that's very good. Okay, now, I'm going to read it this time. I am at my job now. I am at my job now. Good. I am at my job now. Good. If somebody says, where are you? Say, I am at my job now. Okay, and somebody says, who's at the job? You say, I am at my job now. I am at my job now. Good. The most important thing to successful linking is open your mouth. Okay, open your mouth really wide. Okay, let's read it again. I am at my job now. I am at my job now. Good. Hank, you gotta go lower. Can you read it this time? I am at my job now.
I'm at my job now.
Good. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was good. Okay. And remember, you guys, linking doesn't mean that you don't speak clearly. Okay? It just means that I don't want to ruin your English with this linking stuff, but it's just, this is how we really speak, right? But I don't want you to ruin it to you're too extreme. I don't want you to go around and go, he is at the party with his uncle's umbrella. Okay? I want you just to use it, but use it very clearly. Okay? And so I want you to say things like this. Ready? I am at my job now. And at the same time, you can also, one second. At the same time, I want you to know that you can also speak this way. I am at my job now. Okay, I want you to know you can speak that way too. It's just, this is how we speak. Just like your Chinese is really different than mine, you know, right? Okay, Eddie.
Yeah, question. So when we saw some movie from TV, if you put the last word going down, the part going down, does that feel like someone angry? Like I'm done. I'm at my job now. Is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the ending sound. Yeah, now.
Now going down, right? The people will feel that. Are you angry for something?
Yeah, if it depends on how far you go. Very good question. Most of the time we kind of go, I am at my job now. Okay. But if you want to show your anger, I'm at my job now. And then it depends on Sisha. Okay. This is even the sentence. I am at my job now. I am at my job now. Very good. How about the next one, number 2? Who could be number 2? Okay, I'm gonna put it here. One of you guys. Okay. One of you guys read. Okay, good. Okay, one of you guys read. Yeah, that's really good. One more time. Exactly. See, that was good. You like that? That was really good. Okay, let's read it together. Bill is on his way home. Bill is on his way home. Bill is on his way home. Yeah, can you feel it? Bill is on his way home. Bill is on his way home. Bill is on his way home. Yeah, pretty good, huh? I can feel you guys becoming more like native speakers sounding. Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, how about you guys? Athena, how about number 3? Oh my gosh, why didn't you tell me? Man. Oh, come on, guys, come on. She's adding up. Yeah. Shelley? No, wait.
水的英泰尔比赛。
Okay. All right, how about this? Okay. What happens here? It's kind of a pause. It could be a pause because this disappears. But just, I think there's a little bit of a yup here. But it should be a pause. Okay, I'd say she ate the entire pizza. She ate the entire pizza. You like that? It's kind of cool, right? Yeah? Can you feel yourself learning? Does this make sense? Next week, when you have the dialogues, we can play around with it more. When we Unit 1, Unit 2. Okay, what about this one? Kim was alone at the restaurant. Okay, who can read that? Cedar, you can read it. You just got really surprised.
King was alone. King was alone at the restaurant.
Okay, one more time. Kim was alone
King was alone
at
at
the
the
restaurant.
restaurant.
Okay. Okay, 请跟着我说 the. Good. The. Okay. Kim was alone at the restaurant.
King was alone at the restaurant.
Very good. Cedar, can you try to get
King was alone at the restaurant.
very good. Okay. Usually in speech, usually this turns into duh, but that's just too far. Going, Kim was alone at the restaurant. Okay, don't worry about that. How about you guys? Oh, I like your jacket. You look so good. I hope you can read as well as your jacket does. Now you got Fraser.
How can you even sit that? Can you read that? That looks like monkey writing. How do you read that?
Okay, you try.
King was alone at the restaurant.
Okay, at the restaurant.
At the restaurant.
Good. How about number 5?
Wow. Too long. Stephen too long.
It's too long.
Yeah, Stephen too long.
Okay. How about, okay, is it too long? Okay, let's make it easy.
Steve.
That's easy. Okay, try that.
Steve put on his jacket.
Yeah. Okay. How about this? Okay, how about this? Steve put on his jacket. Steve
Steve
put on his jacket.
Steve put on his jacket.
Very good, okay. But this word is
Jacket.
yeah, perfect. Because you have a nice jacket. You have a very nice jacket. That's a very beautiful jacket. Okay, good. Okay, so let's read these again. I am at my job now.
I am at my job now.
Bill is on his way home.
Bill is on his way home.
She ate the entire pizza.
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 Jim was alone at the restaurant.
He was alone at the
Steve put on his jacket.
Steve put on his jacket.
Good. The T usually turns into a D. Put on. Okay. And I know it's kind of crazy. This kind of stuff, you just learn how it works. And when you read the homework for Unit 1, Unit 2, I want you to practice thinking about the linking, okay? Because it's really cool stuff. And at the end of each lesson, or whatever, I'll call it a lesson. At the end of each lesson, there's Dr. J's link speech dance. And I have the linking there together. Okay? Good. So, I really love teaching this stuff. Okay, so, you have a choice. Do you want to look at this abstract? Or do you want to hear me give a presentation? Which one are you more interested in? Presentation or abstract? 很难弄。对啊。你说这个。对，这很难选择，对不对？我也是啊。因为我有选错的 presentation。对啊，我很难说服你。
小朋友才做选择。
看这个，可是这个很无聊，但是这个很有意思。Okay, do you want to do this or the presentation? Okay, we'll do both. Okay. Now, I received this, and we also have another. We also have another thing we need to work on that we had last week that we didn't look at yet. Okay. Sorry. However, I'm gonna use the microphone. I don't want to. Last week I lost my voice.
Oh my God.
Okay. My students were suffering. They couldn't hear me talk. Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. My job is kind of weird because my job is to get these abstracts like this and to turn them into this. Okay? And it takes a lot of energy to do it. Okay? My question is, what's the difference between what I wrote and with the original? And what's the difference? Who can tell us what's the main difference? Thank you. Okay, so when I read the first version, I said, oh my God, what am I going to do with the first sentence? And I just thought, well, I don't know. So I thought, well, I'll just kill it. And so I just took it out. And after I killed it, I thought, oh, was that a good thing to do? And, oh, wait, there's some things, strategies, alliances. And I thought, no, I'll use part of it. And so I took the strategies, such as alliance and mergers and acquisitions, and I put it into the sentence that at least I think so. Did I? Maybe I didn't. Well, I thought I did. Anyway, I tried to do it in a way just because the way an abstract works, and you know this, I know that I don't want to bum it, no, because you guys know what you're doing about abstracts, but when I read an abstract and when I write an abstract, and the reason people give me a lot of money, not now because I'm too lazy, but before they would give me a lot of money to do their masters, to make it into English, right? Into whatever, present it, whatever, native speaker English. The most difficult thing is taking the, and no offense to anybody, okay, I'm just, okay, you okay? Yeah, it's just taking like the, I'm not saying yours, but just taking like the thread and making a beautiful jacket or a sweater out of it. I don't know how to do it. It's just so much of a huge challenge. I can't describe how you do the magic, but the most important thing is to look at the formula for an abstract. There's a very easy formula. It's very, very easy. And I'm going to show you a formula that I have for my abstracts that are so easy. Okay? Okay. Basically, Coco, are you recording still?
Yes.
Okay, let's and one reason, because the administration wants to force more teachers to teach online. Okay? And 1 year ago, this was really serious. Now it's kind of cool because Taiwan did such a good job with the virus, not that big of a deal. But 1 year ago, we thought we were all going to go to hell. We thought we were all going to die. Every time, I remember a year ago, achoo, oh my God, right? A year ago, you couldn't even sneeze. But now, thanks to Taiwan being so cool, there's no really big problem with the virus. But my job was to be kind of the secret spy to tell all the teachers, don't worry about teaching online because even a professional has these problems. And so, from this analysis, these are the major themes that came out. Okay, basically, seat of the pants arrangement, which means we just had to arrange everything so quickly. We had to wear multiple hats. We had to be the teacher, the technician, the smiley guy, the evaluator. It's really hard to. Have you ever taught online? 你们有没有在网上教过书？真的很难的。And then we had this Pareto principle participation where only 20% of the people would participate. Okay? And so my challenge was fighting against the time, trying to be a teacher and not just an entertainer, not being able to see them really, and letting them have enough interaction with me. Because the class was a huge mess. Because the students would come, the students would go. They'd be different students. It was just crazy. Okay? Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because this is what grounded theory is. Grounded theory is something really worth looking at if I were you. You can go to Wikipedia. Strauss and Corbin. And what you do, and these are the key words. These are the important words that you want to put into your paper when you do it, if you use this. For example, emic perspective. That means, like when you guys do an interview with somebody, you're probably trying to understand their perspective, right? Right? Isn't that part of your research, right? Like, part of your research is probably, okay, so these people are doing these mergers and acquisitions, right? And you're probably interviewing them. Like, hey, how did you feel when you were doing this? Blah, blah, blah. And so you're probably going to try to mix the numbers with the feelings, right? Maybe, right? Is that true? Or are you guys only doing numbers?
In theory, I have to do my part, but I think I'm going to do navigate to the numbers and
This stuff, the qualitative stuff. The qualitative stuff is actually really cool if you can get away with it. If you're bad at numbers like I am. But you guys are all good at numbers. But this stuff, this grounded theory is really useful. And if you want, you can have my presentation. And you can have these keywords. And the reason I'm telling you is because, like, okay, what goes on is, okay, my PhD was 5 Taiwanese students. And I was studying their writing.
And I would meet with them all the time, and I was like, why am I going to meet with these guys? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, God, what should I do? And of course, I took classes, but it was a mess. And then I'd go talk to their professors. So whenever you read Hank's writing, what do you feel? Da-da-da. And then I had another hour of interview. Then I typed it all out. And then I talked to somebody else, and then I had another hour of interview. And I had so much information. It's like, God, what do I do with all this? Well, grounded theory helps you deal with it, because you go through these coding. You code it. The first time is open coding. You take all of your interviews, and you go through it, and you go, okay, what's something that comes up a lot? And then you give it a word, or whatever comes to your mind. And then you go to the next one, and you just write down all these codes, tags, of how it makes you feel. What do you think you're seeing? And then, after a while, you start seeing the same thing. And then you start to axial code, which means, okay, I'm talking to Hank, and he's worried about the speakers trying to send speakers. And so now I'm going to interview this guy who makes pens. And oh my God, it's the same problem. And then you start thinking, okay, so now we have military grade special metals. Okay. And that's almost like a theme of what Hank was telling us. Oh, okay. So you had a problem, and the reason you had a problem was why? Oh, because the speaker, although it's a simple thing, it has a magnet. And a magnet, like Willie said, is registered as a precious metal, maybe. So therefore, we can guess that if you're going to send me a kitchen magnet that looks like a cat and try to send it to me, I'm probably going to have the same thing. And so suddenly you start realizing these codes that you're coming up against, right? And then once you have these main themes, then you selectively go through everything again. And then you kind of know, okay, I got a good idea. If I go to anyone in Taiwan and they're trying to send something with a magnet or a pen, they're going to have the same problem. And so I'm going to go to another company, and then, whoa, it's the same thing, right? And so that's selective coding. I know it doesn't make sense, but if you go and read in Chinese grounded theory, and say, oh, okay, and the key thing, though, is to know that these words that I put on here are very valuable. Because I used to teach this. And like triangulation. Do you know what triangulation is? Triangulation is like, it's from sailing. You make 3 points. But the idea with this is basically like, okay, I'm going to try to triangulate this by taking this interview from Hank, and this interview with Willie, and my talk with Athena, and then just try to see if there's common points. And then I'm going to have my friend, who studies this too, be a peer debriefer. And he's going to look at all my data and tell me if I'm insane or not. And then he's going to tell me, or she is going to tell me if I'm kind of right. And we're going to figure out about how right am I. And this is the way to defend yourself. Like, how do you know you didn't just make it all up? Okay? And this really defends you. And so the idea of this grounded theory is just, you look at a problem, and you do all these different things. Like you keep a journal, you write memos of what you're seeing, you look at Moodle, line, email. I looked at my students' homework, we did interviews, online chats, observations, okay? And so you're looking at all these many, many things. The most important thing when you do this is to keep good records. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to do this kind of grounded theory, but if you're doing what you're doing, you're going to have to do some sort of a qualitative research method. And it's almost all the same. And this is kind of the sexy one. This is the one that's like, wow. Because it has so many cool keywords. And I honestly, because I've done this so many times, I really seriously think what you need to do is you need to go to the library and find the research books and look for any 出题字, and then write those down in a notebook. And just know that is like a bone to give your advisor. Like it's like you're in the forest and you have these 7 advisors around you, and you need to throw things at them so you won't get eaten by them. And these words are like the bones. You can feed it to them, and then they won't eat you. For example, like You know, you could just say, oh, you know, I just wrote down my idea. No, you should say, we kept extensive memos, reflective memos. And these words are really what you need to know the most. And it's hard for you because you've been away from school for so long, and now you're coming back to the jungle. I live in the jungle. And I will tell you, you need to know what the key words are, because the key words will set you free. Okay? Because these are the words that will shut up your advisor. Okay? Because your advisor's going, so you just watch them? You watch them? No, sir. I performed observations. Well, how do I know you really were there? Well, I have a record of everything I did, plus I kept extensive memos. What do you mean? You just wrote down your feeling? Yes, sir. I just wrote down my feeling, what I was observing through prolonged exposure with the phenomenon be under investigation. Because qualitative research is a cyclical process. It's not linear, it's a cycle. And so we have the constant comparison method of what we think we're finding, we compare it to the new findings, okay? And so this could really make your life easier, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. Because if you have some of these words, it's gonna make your method section much easier. Okay? For example, this one, the emic perspective, that just means the feeling of the person you're investigating. Like I could go, okay, so Hank, are you okay? You're crying. Okay. So when you tried to send the package, how did you feel? Oh man, I just felt like the government's letting me down, man. I can't even send a speaker. Okay. So why do you think they wouldn't let you send the speaker? I don't know, man. Maybe there's a magnet in there, right? And so what that means is to understand his feeling. And so when you're writing your memo, go, well, he was really freaked out because he didn't really know why, but he thought maybe it was the magnet. Because when you tried to send it, you had to learn from an American, right? And it's kind of weird. That's kind of weird, like, sorry, I can't accept this because your government's going to need to sign it, right? And so that's kind of part of the process, like, of what you're studying, if you're looking at this. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? And so then, all these things, the more records that you can keep, if I were teaching you research, which I'm not, I would say there's one thing you need to know is just take a record of everything. And if you have a thought, write it down. And anywhere you can. I mean, anywhere. Like on someone's back. You just write it down. Like if you have an idea, like at home, one day I was like in the shower and I was just showering and then I took a marker. And I just started writing all this stuff because I was in the shower. I got in big trouble because it was really hard to wash out. But I got the main ideas of what was in my mind. Because you only really realize what you're thinking when you're not thinking about it. The great thoughts come to you when you're playing basketball or when you're running. And so you need to be ready to write it down. Maybe on a basketball. Excuse me. Okay, write it down. Right? And so what you need to be doing is taking a lot of records. And because I've been an advisor many times, and we love to make the students cry. And the best way to make students cry is, okay, so you made an interview? Okay, when? Well, I don't know, last week, right? And I'm like, no, man, just tell me, when was the interview? And they're like, So what I did in my PhD was, I had like hundreds of pages of records. And I basically said, discussion with Hank about stereo. 4月15号15号8点到9点 notes. And so you have every single thing written down, because at the end of the day, when you're defending your paper, they're going to look at you and go, how do I know you really did this? I say, no. You say, excuse me? Are you what? Excuse me, sir. Are you asking me how do you know? Do you have eyes? Look at page 452. Huh? Wow, this is long. That's right. Here's a memo of you saying I did a good job and you're going to give me an A+. Oh, I said that? Yes, you did. 4:15, 3:22 p.m., right? And so what I would do is I would pretend that you're spies. And I'm going to turn the lights on, so you really need to shut your eyes, okay? This is going to be really painful, especially for Coco. Shut those eyes, Coco. Okay, ready? I'm turning on the lights. You ready? I can see the light. Okay, so the main thing I'm trying, yeah, I know. I can, okay, the main thing I'm trying to tell, you gotta go. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Thanks for, she's in your balance, okay, so I really think this stuff is really important, okay? And I really want you to learn this, because if you're like me, when you're doing your PhD or your master's, one, you feel alone. Two, that advisor who is so happy to be your advisor suddenly doesn't have time. It's like you suddenly have the flu, right? It's like suddenly you're like 赔钱货 for your advisor. I know, 国立台湾科技大学不是这样，但是世界上所有的大学都是这样。Okay, they don't have time. They already got their 1 credit, 2 credit hour. Now you're just a number on their lipstick case, right? And so you're just a number to them. And so you need to find a way to make yourself be valuable. And the number one way is to learn the big words and to use them when you're talking to your advisor. And what I tell my students when I train them is I say, ask your advisor if you can record the conversation. Do you do this? Ask the advisor to record if you can record for 2 reasons. One, they will always tell you the answer. Always. They'll always tell you the answer. Oh, 你知道吗？你应该 and you're, oh, I didn't record. And then you get in the car, your wife or girlfriend or whoever says, oh, what happened? I waited for 2 hours. Oh, it was really exciting. You said, what? Oh, 你真的没良心，你在等你2个小时，我去尿尿，你And so what you need to do is record everything. Every single thing. You should have a recorder right now in your hand, and just anytime you have an idea, just speak into it. Because that's research. That's how we do it. And so the next reason you record, I think I told you this before. The second reason you record is to study your advisor's language. Is to study analyze how they speak. And when they speak, say the same thing. Because everyone has something called an idiolect. 我知道，好像我们有谈过这个，我有讲过。看那个，看你的帽子有没有 ？OK， 那帽子还没有动。OK，so 不是很清楚。OK。Idiolect. The idiolect means every single person has his or her own language. You can't change it really. I mean, you can, but it's really hard. You can take a monkey out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the monkey. That's what we say. You can take a boy out of Texas, but you can't take Texas out of the boy. Okay? And so, idiolect is the language people say. And if you want to control people, study their language and use it with them. I used to, when I was in the other place, I would manage like 40 foreigners. In each one of them, I had a little file for what was their favorite bad word, what was their favorite complaint, what was the 他们的用语，他们最喜欢的什么什么, and I would study it. And to the British guys, I'd say, "That's not my bloody cup of tea, is it? Oh, you bastards! I can't believe this place." Right? And so I would try to study the language they would use, and I wouldn't speak that way, but I would take their idiom. And it's really a good way to control people. And the reason I'm telling you is because you need to find a way to control your advisor, because they're not going to give you the time you need. Trust me, no one gives their students the time they need. A professor! Oh, like they're going to run away from you in the parking lot. They see, oh yeah, and then they shut the door like, whew, I can finally watch my TV, right? I'll watch my favorite Yoku channel. Okay? And so what you need to do is you need to learn their language and speak it with them. And that way then you can kind of control it and find out what's on their mind. Okay, so enough about this, but I just wanted to share it with you because you probably feel really alone, right? Do you guys feel alone as graduate students? Yeah. Me too. And I'm not even writing a master's, but I feel really alone too. Because I can sense your loneliness, because it's like, okay, what am I going to do? How do I do this? What's going on? How does it? And the weird thing that I discovered was that master's doesn't write itself. You sit and you stare at it, you stare at your computer, it's not going to write itself. You have to write it. So what I did, like I told you before, what I did is I got the template. The first day, I wrote a fantasy title. I don't know what the F this stupid paper is going to F about. Robert Johansson. It's fantasy date. Future date. Next page. I want to thank all the professors who gave a great time. Just write that. And then I made a fantasy paper, and I would always change it. And then suddenly it finished itself in like 3 months. It finished itself just because I was always changing it. And it just got done because I started. Because the hardest thing is starting. And once you can start, you can just control the universe. You can control it. And so, one more time, you need to go to the library. At least I would go to the library and see a real book and not the internet. And look at a book and look at the tweets in the topic you're looking at. And keep a notebook of those. And then go to those other those other masters that have already been written. And study them very carefully. What verbs do they use? What's the tense? Okay, just like my abstract beginning. Okay? And then, if you're going to use grounded theory, learn these words. If you're going to use qualitative research methods, just read like 100 papers until you kind of understand what the words that always come up. Because it's all the same. It's so easy. It's just you're on the other side. On my side of the river, oh, it's a beautiful life. Just because I know the secret. And the secret is that you're putting a puzzle together that's been put together 100,000 times. It's just you feel alone because you've never done it. Like, my first master's was just like, oh. The second one was pretty easy. The PhD was like a piece of cake, just because I'd been through so much of it. And I knew how to take advantage of my advisors and to control them. That's just what you have to do. Right? It's just like managing people. But it's just the way you do it. Okay, before we go home, but not together. Okay, before we go home, let's look at this abstract. Okay, so does anybody want to read it? I know you don't. I have to do all the work alone in this class. Okay. You want to read the beginning?
No, I can write it.
You can read it?
I can write it. Because it's on.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You won the lottery too. This usually costs hundreds of dollars.
Presently in the form of a case study, this paper investigates the way in which a professional manager turns losses into profits and strengthens his company's core competitiveness. A Taiwanese personal computer company.
Okay, can I say something? Okay, let me just say something. This is not perfect because we didn't meet. Usually you edit it and you say, hey, is this right? No, that's totally wrong. Okay, so we didn't meet, right? We did not meet, right? That wasn't you. I'm just kidding. We did not meet before, right? Okay, usually somebody sends you something, oh, okay, I'll look at it. And then you meet with them and you say, is this right? And then you realize it's totally wrong. So we didn't meet after we edited this, okay? And so I was just guessing at what you were saying. And so it's not perfect. Okay?
So I just
Yeah, if you did the second.
During the course of our study, it was observed that the investigating enterprise was in the process of undergoing two distinct stages of reform. First, the establishment of internal core competitiveness, and second, the expansion of its core competitiveness while teaming up with partners in the industry. As for the former stage, we observed that lean management was adopted successfully to improve productivity and efficiency for quick change in the firm's product lines, which is one of the major challenges companies in the electronics professional manufacture service. EMS industry fast because of the necessity to automate frequently production lines. Moreover, we discover that the company's existing business model was recalibrated successfully by the targeting of the medium volume niche market, the screening of suitable clients, and the integration of resources inside the Foxconn technology group to reduce procurement and manufacturing costs. Regarding this case company's second stage of reformation, we observe that their careful selection of suitable partners for strategy layout planning integration in the form of strategic alliance and merger and acquisition. M&A not only increased their first stock share price, but also enabled it to surpass its benchmark revenue expectations. In addition to exploring the aforementioned key factors for the case company's success, this article also discusses the importance of strategic decision making when it comes to engaging in strategic alliance and M&A in hopes of, ideally, service as reference for similar such business hoping to both fortify their alliance fast and expand their overall core competitiveness.
Okay, good. That word service should be servant.
I'm pretending I'm embarrassed. Do I look embarrassed? Do I look embarrassed? 会不会觉得很尴尬？看起来有点尴尬。Okay, I really don't care because we all make mistakes. That word at the 倒数第二行第一个字 service should be serving or serve. Let me see when it comes to engaging in serving. Because whatever it is, it shouldn't be service. Okay, so when you read it, what do you read? You read a bunch of, you look like spaghetti. You're reading spaghetti, right? Well, I just did this while I was listening. This is what I see. Okay?
And every single thing you're writing for your masters, this is how your professor sees it. Just like this. Because the abstracts are all the same. They're all this. It's a dance. It's a puzzle. And what I would do if I were you is to get a master's and just study it like a really good master's, like by a native speaker maybe, who the professor really likes. And you can拍马屁，就可以，哎，教授，我看你这篇文章，我觉得很有意思啊。哎，我想请问一下，有没有什么 masters？你现在那个，哦呀，我以前在美国，在英国念书的时候，我的 advisor 给我这篇文章。Oh, what can I copy? How can I do that? Right. And so all you have to do is just make the professor think you're really interested in them and their work, and that's 90% of your work. The rest 10% is just figuring out exactly how to take that love for you and that knowledge to put into the matrix of the puzzle. Okay? Now, 我知道我讲得太简单, but trust me, I've been down this road before. And if you don't play the game, it's not a nice. If you don't dance to the music, it's going to be a long party. Okay? And so if you know the dance, let me tell you, it gets better. Okay? If the night will be good if you know how to dance. And the way to dance is 1, they're the most interesting people in the world. 2, you've read all their work. And 3, it totally changed my life. And then 4, you take what they say and you put it into this matrix of the puzzle. Okay? Every single article, every single master's has the same format, the same tense. It was observed that blah, blah, blah. Moreover, comma, we discovered blah, blah, blah. And then, oh God, discovered, found, what's another word, right? English only has like 15 words for that. And they're all on the internet. You should have them and write them down next to your computer. I was sitting there at the hospital going, okay, discovered, investigate, found, observed. Well, what other word can I use here? And then they called my name and I was like, what? Can you wait a minute? No, come on in. So then I had to start again. And so our problem as English speakers, we don't have that many words to use. And your problem is Well, you don't have a problem because you can just write them down in your wall and just use them as you want. But we have to really think about it. But you guys go, okay, 我发现 discovered, observed, found out, you know. 我觉得刚开第一次你可以写白话文 okay, discovered, found out, figured out, and then later you can change it to make it better. You know what I'm saying? And remember that website I gave you? All of these words are on there. The academic word database. If you go to like an abstract, if you go to the literature review, the introduction, the methods, all those words are the same. It's just so easy. You just have to put in the information. Okay? So afterwards it came out pretty well, right? Right? It pretty much makes sense, right? Okay, so what I did is, okay, the first sentence has to go. We don't want that general stuff. That's for the conclusion, or the introduction. That was the first sentence of an introduction, but I killed it. And then it's, okay, this study does this, wear it, you know. I always tell my students, it's always this, it's like, don't worry, we're gonna go home soon, don't worry. What's going on with this guy? What's he smoking today? Don't worry, we're going home soon. I always tell my students, okay. Okay, what's that? Who, what, when, why, how. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Okay, there's no why, unless you're in Beijing. Why, okay. I always tell my students who, what, the Taiwan, what, when, why, how. Who, what, when, where, why, how, right? These are all the questions you have to ask. What? 就是台湾味，这关当。那个小朋友他们不懂这个，你刚去台湾哪里没好过台湾味？Okay, so anyway, that's a joke. That's a Lao in Taiwan, 太久的笑话。But I love Taiwan. Okay, pretty good, huh? Hey, what did it? You'll go home and your husband and your wife say, did you learn anything? Yeah, I learned one thing. What's she said? Okay. 那么多讲话，那么多时间学到这个，为不为你家？ Okay, so let's make a 九结论. Let's make a conclusion of a 九结论. Right? Is that a joke? 九结论. Let's make it 结论, a conclusion. The main thing that we did today. Sorry, I'm really tired. Usually I'm asleep by now. There you go. 好远呢，好远呢。对啊. And so anyway, what we learned today was you heard me talk a little bit about the Dr. J's Think speech dance. You will get a copy from Coco, from everybody, of the flip book. Okay, we're gonna do unit 1, unit 2. Okay, we're gonna do those first 2 lessons next week, and we're gonna look at more linked speech dance. And then you heard me talk about qualitative research and a little bit about how to control your advisor, which I hope helped you. Was that helpful? A little bit? 有一点，可是我觉得你需要打气哦，因为这是很累啊，我知道，我也。Yeah, and I just really want you to learn this, and also know that you're looking at a puzzle, and it's kind of like you've done your job for so long. But if I walked into your company, I'd look like Forrest Gump, right? You go, don't worry about it. That's just the intern. I wouldn't know anything, and that's what your advisor does when he sees your paper. It's like, oh my God, what's going on? And so all you have to do is just look at the format and just know that you're trying to write a puzzle. Okay? Good. I think I've said enough tonight. I'm really tired. I want to go home. Okay. So you guys have a good week, and if you want, you can have my presentation. If you want. Okay. I'll leave it on the desktop because it may help you a little bit. Okay. Okay. Let's go home. But not together.